Hello everyone. Today is a Sunday. That's Sunday, right? Yes. Sunday member class, and this is a continuation of tangible structure of soul. And we're gonna cover the disc 5 and some portion of the disc 6. So welcome. It's gonna be a somewhat repeat for those who attended the yesterday. Because of that, we are not going to do the technique together because it's gonna be too much for those who went through. Definitely, you need to rest at least 3 days. I actually did feel that from yesterday's practice. It was actually quite good, but then we need to have a body to cleanse and then heal and put some closure because it's really, really powerful healing. So with that, let's share the slide. Before I go into, does anybody has any comments, question? I take silence as a no. Okay. All right. I just try to make it slightly bigger. I'm not sure how many of you are able to visit the member page recently to kind of review some of the item here. I'm constantly changing, but probably not so much after this class, after today. So please go back and revisit the web page, the member web page. Just for those who, I don't know how many people know this is a landing page of the member page right here. And it used to be our reading assignment, it was right below, but I moved to the more appropriate area, which is slightly bottom. And you see this the image of the books in Ascension Study Group. That's where our materials start listing out. So please find that, just scroll it down, and you see the materials, link, files, and disclosure, and linear fashion listing from the CD, the disc 1 through 6. And I try to make sure the left is a more relevant straight out of your audiobook, and the right is a supplemental references most of the time, um, so that you kind of see audience yourself once you come in here. It's best to ask away if you have any question. This is your material, and this is for your benefit. More you ask and request, the more you gain and expand and grow. So
I have a question.
yeah,
Um, right there, you have the Song of Orion. Where are the songs gone from our member page?
no, it's here.
How would I find them?
You just keep scrolling down, which Kira knows very intimately well than me. If you keep going down, or find using your computer, find the Son of Orion if you type it.
But it's still all on the same page.
Same page. Yeah, I try to make it the same page.
Okay.
It's difficult for me to manage multiple pages, and it's annoying for you either too. So you just need to go down or control find F, right, to find, and the Son of Orion should bring you right here. And then this should be audio, and this is um the lyric. Now
Okay. I see it
you see,
now.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
there is some
Thank you.
other song that we haven't really go over, but this is, I would say this is that song for this um structure of soul. But there's another one that I'm not sure you noticed from your the PDF file. There's I am player. This is also super important. I'm not sure it's this one that listed, but something to do with I am, the basically affirmation. Um, that is very important to bring yourself back to the birthright so that you're not consenting on something without your knowledge. So that is basically something similar to this. I am this, I am. I am the, connection, direct connection to the original God, the original creation, eternal light, or something like that. I am the light, I am the love, something similar to that. That's affirmation. It's on your PDF, um, but that's another one good for the supplement for your practice. Yeah, it's okay. I see some background. Somebody is busy. Um, Anything else in terms of navigating a site or content?
Yeah, I just checked the site myself.
Mm-hmm.
It was that's pretty well. It looks pretty straightforward.
Okay,
I
that's
mean, doesn't look like there's anything confusing. I can access it pretty well.
good. That's important. I'm trying to change the password so that, once you get in, you should be able to. Let's see. Yeah. And some of them I added out of the source from not listed on your on within this teaching, and ask me if there's something confusing. But I'm not really expecting people to know everything here. It is a cumulative knowledge where you build up from some kind of base, and this is why we always go back and forth. Um, because this is really truly, how do you say this? It's really multidimensional things. So depending on where you are at now and what you are open to resonate well with, your focus gonna be different area, and that's totally fine. But this is not something you could digest 100% digestible from at one glance. So I welcome you to go back in here at any time you feel you need. And, you could kind of review yourself or talk with your friends or in a chat room to deepen your understanding. All right. Okay. So there was a lecture 2 here and 3, right? And 4, we did the Merkaba phase, right? And then in 5, we are one of those main topic. Okay. This is something maybe some people has the more different affinity. Maybe because my background is in a Eastern culture, it comes to me very naturally. But maybe some of them not. Let's talk about karma and our expanding energy body. It has some disease, something basically something wrong with our higher structure of our energy body. That's what they're talking about. And that's a link back to why we are here to begin with. So this is kind of expanded topic and somewhat important. I mean, it's very important. Actually, I mean, at least what I feel, and they go all the way back to the creation. Okay, and then the creation is not necessarily the creation of a human as an embodiment. It's really the why this construct being created and where they're coming from and who created and why. To understanding all those questions, which is a core spiritual question, right? They're going back to the physics, like cosmology, the order, to explain, even to explain to who that is from, because they could say something that we don't know what that is unless we have something to base off from. So they teach from how this cosmic structure being built upon and which substance, right? So that is the ultra micro particles that we've been talking about all the time, particle, And partiki is the original substance, ultra small, ultra particle of consciousness unit, partiki, and of it, particate and particum come, arises. Now, those are the building blocks. It really the basis of tritonal, which is like a three, trinity in another way. It's father, mother, child. That's one expression. Or the magnetic, electronic, and a neutral, female and a male, and the unity. There's a many way that people been telling us about this trinity, and that is the basis of everything I built upon. Right? And of that, there's a fabric of the creation, a template. It's called morphogenetic field. You could say scalar grid because it's made of light and sound, which is a sequence of programmed on and off mechanism where flashing on and off in a certain way so that it creates mathematical coding where the more complicated things be able to manifest in and out. That is how the time, light, sound, space, matter, being, embodiment being created. So we are also created from this template. And throughout the creation, I won't say there's a mistake. It is, something, the error or whatever happened along the way, and it become the blockage of the flow of this energy sequence. You could call like a computer virus is a very similar expression to it. It is actually kind of like a virus where it actually replicates itself. So it's not just a physical blockage, like a rock on a road at the blocking, or just to remove the rock. It actually really be more cumbersome because it itself propagate just like a virus. It is actually a virus, right? That's probably where that came from. But anyway, so that is a miasm or miasm, and it is expressed the form of frozen light. So it is not the part of eternal structure of consciousness of freely flowing back and forth. No, once you have this, it's a block. It's a dead light, the dead energy zone. Now, so what is this, and then how we could, what is this? But first of all, what is that frozen light, right? And something probably not good. Eventually, it manifests as disease on our physical body, and in a form of chronic pain or chronic illnesses, or it could, it's I think that one of the worst one is a cancer. It was so prevalent at a certain period of time, and it originally came as a form like a viruses that transmit to one to the next. In a level of so-called crystal body, and the crystal body is something resided beyond our plane. So it's a higher heavens. So we're talking about much bigger issues, right? At least that's what they're teaching. However, it is not helpless because they'll tell you how to address it, and in a form of the breathing visualization using the combination of symbol, color, tone, and a position of your energy body, right? And they'll in a form of guided meditation. So it's achievable. So that is a technique here, the lecture 5. Now, for those who absolutely do not believe in this, so I'm getting really hot in here. Can't find a controller. If you're not really truly buy into this, I would suggest not to do it. Try to hold your curiosity. If it's just a curious, I mean, why you waste your time, right? You just take the theoretical view and then a part of the exercise for your brain and place kind of reference point for you to store away, file away maybe. But if you feel something here, I recommend you to explore and talk to your inner guidance. And if it's match, you definitely practice. And I will practice, if I were you, according to the guidance first. And then, you are a highly evolved conscious being. And, there's of your guidance, of your inner guidance. And, you create your routine based off from this. But because of this is a class to reading and understanding this theoretical view, we went through yesterday, right? What is a thought form and miasm, and then how that's going to manifest into karmic debt, right? So that we mainly cover yesterday. Now it's become a little repetitive because we read this here, but it's important. I wonder somebody mind reading this. I know Jeffrey read yesterday, so maybe somebody else could read that thought form.
If you want me to, I will.
Yes.
You want me to start? Okay. Thought form. Reality is thought construction. The core substance of the cosmos is consciousness. Thought is an attribute of consciousness, the filter through which consciousness manifests itself into the hologram of form, the holographic template. You want me to continue? Oh, okay, sorry. Nothing is truly solid. Of all things are composed of consciousness, and their apparent solidity, density, is determined by the relationship between the consciousness observing the form and the consciousness of which the form is made. No thing is truly manifest. It only appears to be so due to the refraction of the consciousness within the energetic relationships inherent to the holographic template, the original thought from construction upon which our universe structure is perpetually created.
Yes, thank you. Some of them are tongue twister. So basically, they explain about what is thought form, and with from the higher consciousness standpoint, you'll be able to actually see your thoughts, right? And it has a form to it. Now, the next section of miasm, any volunteer? For this section.
I mean, I can do it again. I don't mind.
No, it's all right. I'll take over from here. I'll read this segment, and then the next person can take a turn.
Okay, go for it.
Which one is it again?
That miasm right here from
from the top.
Yes.
All right. I'll read the first two sections.
Okay.
Miasm, is that how you pronounce it? Miasm or miasm?
Either way is fine.
All right. Miasm bleeds through one lifetime to the next. Reincarnation compound the miasms, or also known as karmic debt. Miasms are morphogenetic crystallizations of partika, or electrotonal units of consciousness that form the base for antiparticles, caused by a collection of lower vibrating thought patterns. Thoughts create morphogenetic templates within the morphogenetic field of the body and consciousness. Miasms manifest within the particle structure of the HOVA bodies as electrically charged antiparticles, which block the natural functions of the HOVA body merger, Merkaba vehicle formation, and dimensional ascension. Okay, I'll leave it to the next speaker.
Okay. Anyone else?
I'll go.
Thank you.
Start with the buildup.
Yes.
The buildup of miasmic crystals within the morphogenetic field, DNA, physical body, and consciousness, which uh, accretes from one lifetime to another, impedes the natural evolutionary process, blocking the process of soul and oversoul integration. Miasmic thought forms in the past can resurface in the current body and replicate themselves and manifest in the future.
Mm.
CDs,
If you
okay,
can read, if you could read this, at least the first paragraph of karma.
okay. Can you make it a little bigger or?
Or I could definitely try. Is this little?
Yep, yeah, that's bigger.
Okay.
Karma means action, work, or deed. It also refers to spiritual principle of the law of cause and effect, where intent and actions of an individual cause an influence upon the future of that individual effect. Positive intent and positive deeds help to contribute to positive karma that helps to co-create future happiness, while negative intent and negative deeds contribute to consequences of negative karma and future suffering. Karma is closely associated with the idea of consciousness rebirth in many schools of Asian religions. In these schools, karma in the present affects one's future in the current life, as well as the nature and quality of future lives. The wheel of stations of identity are called samsara. The law of cause and effect, or karma, is a key concept in Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism, and Taoism, as well as the mechanics of ascension.
Thank you. Now the last bit. Any taker?
I can go again.
Thank you.
Energetic consequences of negative karma. In the consideration that all things in creation are consciousness, there are both positive, potentially positive or negative effects of the consciousness energy that intermingles with our light body, and the quality of energy is based upon our own intent for actions and consequences of those actions. All energy is intelligent and follows the quality of thought in the mind and emotions. Our soul and monadic
Monadic.
monadic spiritual body is consciousness and therefore intelligent energy that follows the law of cause and effect or karma.
Yeah. Thank you. The well led. So I just want to stop here. Is there any, it's a lot of definition and concepts here. I just want to make sure everybody is relatively on the same page. Is there any area that requiring more clarity, or the definition is slightly different from what you originally previously thought? Or this is like 100% resonate well with you.
I have to read. It takes me a second to take everything in, so I have to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, that's true. That's fair.
At least just with me because um
No, I mean I've been studying this for years. It wasn't very easy. Um, but once with experience, it's become easier. Once you experience these things, I guess. Um, so anybody, any comment or question, clarification, or you just want to be kind of keep listening? Go.
Can I read more about the Merkaba here?
Sure.
I mean, let's see.
Right
Well,
here. Go ahead.
yeah. A Merkaba is a set of counter-rotating interdimensional electromagnetic fields that forms through the axis of three-dimensional or harmonic universe flashline sequences. We have small dimensional Merkabas that are within the body in each dimensional level. And then we have harmonic Merkabas depicted as two spiraling cones that surround the body. Harmonic Merkabas are related to harmonic universes, also called densities. Running your Merkaba in reverse literally drains your life force from your body. I think that's a good place to stop.
Yeah, that's a good point. I just wanted to mention that. Have you ever met the person kind of drain your energy just being near or talking with it to it?
Well, there is something interesting. I've heard of the one commonly accepted theory that certain energies or forms of matter tend to spiral towards entropy. I imagine that running the Merkaba in reverse may be another way of doing that, in a sense. Namely, in that the morphogenetic field in which the life force is a major part of cannot properly reconstitute itself, even if you put it back in its regular trajectory or path.
Yeah, that's a very good.
But again, that's just theorizing on my part. I'm going by what I've heard before, and I'm trying to find how it can be properly applied to this well, whatever you call it.
Yeah. No, it's important to be, it's need to be applicable. If it's just a theoretical exercise and make you feel great, that doesn't really I guess mean much, at least to me. So many of us are Reiki healer, right? So chakra is basically the Merkaba structure. This is why you have a two cones back, the front and back. Now we have a bigger Merkabic structure that cover our entire body, which is the root and crown chakra, right? It's slightly longer middle because we have so many things going on from the head to the bottom, right? So the Merkaba structure is a little elongated. It looks like egg rather than a sphere. This is why you imagine the egg form a lot of time over meditation exercise. But all of a majority of our physical chakra is vertical, right? That's a Merkabic form. Only reason why it cannot form the Merkaba structure is because there is a seal, like a bow tie, there's something sealing that bring the two cone come together to form the Merkaba. Because once we form the Merkaba, we start spinning, right? And the part of the chakra starts spinning. If the all lower three chakras start to spin, you just kind of disappear most of your body. So that's not probably good, at least right this moment. So this is why so many things happening in the middle lower sacral area. It bound us to here, another mechanism, locking mechanism there to keep our existence here on Earth. But we are all made of a Merkabic structure, the tiniest tiny one to the bigger one, and even Earth has its own planetary Merkabic structure. So if you think about it, everything is Merkaba. So what's wrong about it? Now, not all Merkabas turn out to be the same, right? And that become very, complicated, maybe physics, but you just could only imagine if the Merkaba is not turning, probably not a good because the life force is not coming in, correct? So that is an extreme example. It's the same thing with the chakra. If the chakra is blocked, that means something seriously wrong, correct? So just from that standpoint, from your Reiki practice, yeah, you could actually kind of see where this is going. Merkaba is a living life, the vehicle of carrying, passing through the eternal life force. If something wrong with the Merkaba, it's probably something wrong with the consciousness as well. Now, going back to this Merkabic structure, I'll connect to this karmic debris, basically the things that block that energy, it could be just our thought alone could do that. Just our thoughts itself could create that block and have become manifest unhealthy makaba or flow. So the cassette explained very well. I actually really like this disc 5. They explain very well. So it's best for you to kind of listen and re-listen until you kind of really sink in, and hopefully that's gonna bring you to the very robust and positive routine, the day-to-day life. Because this is something we cannot do in going to the one giant retreat. And okay, now I'm cleared. I clear my ancestral karma, and come back and then do the same thing. No, I wish it could work like that way. Actually, no, not really. It's probably good something happened, but if you shift it totally and continue that state of the frequency and be able to maintain it, that's great. But probably the very best practice would be having a very robust, correct, right routine for you that you consciously believe in and follow and feel right and see the progress and having a right experience, reality that echoing back to you. So some people are living very close to living in that reality, and perhaps those are the people who are helping other people to kind of lead the way so that they're not continuously propagating the debt, right? Rather than clearing it, creating more of it, right? And the worst case is giving to somebody else, right? But still, I see those things happening, unfortunately. A lot of time, probably not aware, and not fully recognizing what the consequence of what they're doing. And then, unfortunately, we are the races that created to address this issue, and at some point we forgot, and becoming kind of Hoover vacuum cleaner that has limited the capacity, I guess, in a way. So now is the kind of the time to reclaim our original birthright, that we are the spirit being experiencing this life in this environment rather than the other way around. So that's, I think, it's a very empowering thought process. So in order for people, based off from this thing, in order for people, everyone to experience that one moment with God, the pure joy, ecstatic joy, right? And absolute love. That experience will be felt and could be the state once you expand your Hoover body to the higher order, so that you are very close to that energy frequency. So this is why they emphasize on the structure and order. And there's a many way to describe, and I thought about this in many different ways. There's no one single way to express this, just because if you express this, it's just maybe too complicated. If you express this, looks very linear and easy to understand, but that's maybe one way to look at it. But when I said it, this is all in a one place, it's kind of hard to see that way, right? And this is a more better way to express, but maybe you had to kind of look at it and think through it to fully get this diagram. So it's difficult, right? But I think it's both a very high, information that contain the high frequency. Now, I just wanted to say, I say information. This is a kind of information that your consciousness accurate, meaning that it actually building block of expansion of consciousness. So just looking at this image or reading this or hearing those terminology and words itself will raise your frequency because your consciousness is gaining the intelligence energy. It's almost like eating this information and creating the frequency, right? So you are becoming raising your being in a higher state. Okay, now just gonna stop here. Is that okay so far? So
Yeah, yeah,
okay,
it's good.
okay. Yesterday, David, excellent. David, thank you, Charles. David, Diane, and no, not Diane. Oh, definitely, yes. And Dan and I did technique. So we cannot do this technique today. But for those who hasn't done it, I highly recommend to run through it. It's a bit long, but it's an audio. Just follow. It's very easy to follow. Have anybody else did it? The
I'm sorry, technique, which one? Day five?
five.
This one?
Yeah, I think it's
Okay.
D5.
What would you recommend is the process? Is the process best to follow this exercise? I mean, how many steps would you take it per day?
Okay, yeah, good question. So Jeffrey, if you could come to Wednesday meditation, we're gonna do that. So
Well, I'll try to make. Well, that Wednesday meditation at noon, you mean?
yeah,
Okay, I'll try to make it then.
yeah, that would be the best because we're going to go through and then put it into the routine. But if it's not, the very first one, Rishi, right? You already got that. If you do the Rishi first, CD technique one, that's something you could do once if you felt well. If you didn't feel like you got that sense, maybe you want to repeat 2 more times, and that's it. Move on to the technique two. Technique two, that's something you may have to practice over the course of 3 months, 3 to 5 months. Not
Oh,
every day, not every day, but that's something you're gonna repeat on the Wednesday meditation. If you just come, it will be okay, because until you have the 5D state, right? We could go to that state. It's difficult to do this technique 5 because technique 5 is using your state of consciousness from the 5D. You feel comfortable, you sense when you're going up there. Yes, I could visualize very clearly the white light. I feel it, right? That is where I think, Jeffrey, I think you're pretty much there.
uh,
Just need to have a block of time and a little focus, and that's all. And
all
then
right. I'll
yeah,
check my calendar and see which particular window I
yeah.
can allow for this practice.
Yes. Now, when you're doing this technique too, you start to see your dream change, and you start to see your future, and you start to become having experience of lucid dreaming more and more. And sometimes the couple of days ahead, certain thing happen if it's something important for you, and things start to line up. That is a kind of experience you start to having when you keep doing technique too. Now, when you start to having that kind of the higher sensory development, then you really want to focus on this CD technique 5. Technique 5 is something a lifelong process is that this is how you're going to prevent yourself from getting a serious chronic illnesses. And maybe you're going to take less medication, or you could avoid a major surgery in the future, or you'll start to having so-called mystical experiences, right? So it is super important. And I do have an issue. I do know that actually, and I know exactly where that is. but it takes a while for me to address it. But I will use this technique 5, and keep going with it. Now, so that's my advice for now, and I
Um,
will do,
oh, sorry.
go ahead.
Um, I don't mean to interrupt, sorry. But for someone who didn't do Technique 5, and you said you're going to do Technique 5 on Wednesday, correct? Or just you're going to do
No,
Technique
no,
2?
no, no. We're gonna do the Rishi one, very first technique one on the Wednesday.
Okay, first one on Wednesday. So I'll have enough time if I do the Technique 5 either tonight or tomorrow, probably tomorrow. That'll be fine,
Yeah,
correct?
that's fine. Totally fine. Yeah. It
Okay.
can't really hurt you. The only thing you could hurt this technique 5, don't do it in a row. You get so tired.
Okay.
Okay. You will feel it next day if you do right way. So you probably don't feel like you're gonna do anything. That's fine. But it's very powerful and it's very
Mm.
universal, the technique. The one thing I could tell you though, so you feel more, maybe you experience somewhere else in different workshop. When they say about the whiteboard of light, right? They always start like a tunnel, some kind of tunnel, and have you look at the pinhole of light. Okay. Is this experience near death or people who come back from other side or tell you the similar story? You could also experience something in sometime in a dream or yeah, yeah. Anyway, um, and then the pinhole of light becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. Either that coming to you or you going to there. Do you understand this feeling of the light in the end of the tunnel? And
I see those all the time when I meditate. So
excellent.
yes.
Well, that's good. So when you have that, and then make sure you go right in front of that light, which is like in a gigantic sun or something, right? And
Hmm.
stay there and then put yourself almost in it or right in front and then have it feel through your, this is called cellular sense, somatic sense. Rather than here, it just feeding through it and completely become one with the energy. At that state is very close to where you are in a fifth dimension. Now,
Oh,
yeah. So
okay.
that only then you're able to see your body outside of your physical body in a so-called auric construct, and you'll be able to clearly see the miasm point. So the one is to feel the 5D sensation, which is a technique 2, right? And then
Hmm.
second things we will train, maybe you could already do it, the bilocation, meaning that you are here, but you're out there and simultaneously. You'll be able to sense simultaneously you here and you're there. So
Okay.
yeah, you hear, which should be easy, right? Well, sometimes it's not, but it should, some people daydream a lot, right? And then also that you be able to see you up there and you could look down or look up and you see yourself, your body in the bottom, and you sense your tiny self up there, right? So
Hmm.
in a sense, someone explained to me there's like an incredible chess master that who can play with a 50 players simultaneously, and he could tell all the movement like in a different places, so yeah, so he has a mind station, tiny mind station in all those 50 places, right? When they play with a 50 player, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that you basically leaving part of consciousness somewhere else and then while you're still here. So it doesn't need to be 50 different locations. I'm only asking one more. uh you just have to,
Well,
yeah,
I
but
probably have a question about yeah, that sounds interesting, but I might text you a question, personal question about that. I don't know if it's related.
I just say it.
Okay, fair enough. Um, now does the technique for 5, does that tell you how to go towards the white light, so to speak, or have the white light come to you?
Yes. So you do both.
Okay, good.
Yeah, you do both. So you're becoming one with a white light while you are wearing a U in the bottom. And then once you observe yourself from the top down, you'll be able to see the blockages.
Okay.
Okay. And then you bring down there. So yeah, it's very similar process for a lot of different techniques we went through, or I personally went through in a different workshop and teaching, very consistent. The things that maybe slightly different, maybe there's some slight differences because they ask you to use specific geomancy code. They really explain to you in detail, in relationship to spiritual anatomy, right? So,
Mhm.
so make you feel that, you're doing something very also scientific. I think that's the whole thing about it. According to them, they notice that the human or people don't follow or don't consistently perform if in a consistent manner, even though they tell you the very simple technique, because maybe too simple. But if you tell mechanic behind it, more people tend to stick to it. So that was a conclusion they had. This is why they are downloading a lot of information, perhaps far more than we need at this point. But it works for me, so that's why I'm disclosing for you. Hopefully, you're helpful because it's a lot of different teaching, which is actually all good. A lot of things is good, but sometimes confusing. Well, you know what? I learned in this way, right? So hopefully, at least in this teaching, we should be talking the same thing when we say God, let's say, or when we say Wishi or avatar, right? We know what we're talking about within this context. So I think that's why I always ask, do you get it? It's not, challenging your intelligence. It's just because we have a very different background and learning belief system. Um, you never know, right? I could be offending something because that something misunderstanding. With that, is that somewhat okay? The section, the lecture 5, miasm, karma,
Well,
thought.
it is it is a lot to cover. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
I guess we were doing as far as this subject was concerned, we were doing what may be called a crash course.
yes, it is a crash course. Um, it is. I'm giving you this upfront because you're gonna actually do the more structural, routine building, which are gonna come from the end of January, which include like a diet and how to eat, how to cleanse our body from food and things like that, and to the movement and the spiritual practice. So it's all connected. Now, I plan to do the review class before that. Hopefully, the people could come for those who requiring that, and I think it's always good to review. Anyway, um, yes. So just using a little bit more time left, I'd like to go through the overview of the next lecture, see disc 6. Is that okay? Or yes, maybe? Okay, thanks, Charles. You're the quiet group today. All right. Now, lecture 6 is quite a eye-opening. Even to me, it was quite eye-opening. What? But then it makes sense. At least I really thought it just makes sense to me even more. They basically finally disclose who is Melchizedek. Yeah. And why they're here and teaching these things now or for many years, and who are those people, right? And they maybe not here, but list out those you probably know a lot of names belong to this family race, and have very has those people quite historical significances. So it kind of quite a shock. Now, not every human incarnates belong to Melchizedek, if you listen very carefully. And then maybe you think, aha, or okay, because yeah. Anyway, I'm not gonna say too much more. So it's very, very interesting. If you're very into UFO, not UFO, I'm sorry, ET, the metagalactic consciousness kind of things, this is really the one. Please listen toward the end more carefully. But before that, they talk about order, the God, central point of creation, the family, the race, and the family of consciousness that we came out from, which is sometimes a lot of people have, maybe not everybody, but a lot of people question where I come from, right? They're talking to you about it. So they kind of explain that whole structure, right? So I will give you a little bit more. I will give you a little bit more complete table so that, hopefully you could come back here and refer, okay, in this teaching said this is a God, and what does it mean here? You kind of go back and forth reference point. And you could tell me, hey, I this is something you need a clarification. I'd like to also learn something as well. So now this is a teaching that define a God as a point of differentiation, the original point of differentiation of identity. When that happened, that is a God. So some people may disagree, but in this teaching, there is a God, so-called God. Okay, so with that, they talk about cosmic order as a family of cosmic consciousness. So to them, all the religion is somewhat related to these things. They're talking about teaching about this structure. So it's inclusive, not exclusive. Now, the biggest form that we could even imagine is called Cosmaya, which is, all the cosmos came out of the birthing mother of cosmos. And the cosmos is, it's, I guess I don't need to explain. Cosmos is a cosmos. It's where the beyond the unity field, right? So unity field or unity, it is the mind of unify. There's another word is unify or source. When I talk about source, going back to source, we came out of a source, the unity field of consciousness. There's no time. It's almost like I feel like to me it's the one-dimensional dot, and then it's everything. You see, like everything. It's all that is you, and it's not. It's just no time. Just I don't know how to explain. It is like you are the star, and everything else you see like countless star around you, and that's part of you, and then the part of all. So that is kind of the source, and you feel incredible right here. And then one below is a God seed from the source, Uniside, or Uset, where the original, the first identity, the just thought, the collective identity was born, or God seed, which is I am, this I am. I don't know how many God seeds out there, but I am this I am, the first projected consciousness, aware that this is I am this I am. And one below that, cosmic monad. So God seed create many countless monad. That's what we talk about here, right? Monad. The sound is ekasha. So that is a unity field. And I really don't think from our point of view, we could differentiate those three layers. A unity field is all like God, source, the greater minds. Now from here, downstepping called energy metric, Useta or Yanas, the mind of ascended master just souls, right? So I guess people know that ascended master, but I think that one earthly ascended master is very different. And they're not talking about this, but it's called mind of ascended master, where have a three different Huba body structure, like a nestle each other. So it's a three level. And the first layer, the top is Eka, right? And they have a name. I think it's Mr. Ekatic. Ekatic Gladianus. And then the one below is Vishay Polaric Vachayanas. And then the third one is a geomantic Jesuits. The family name is I think I had to correct this later, Ramayanas. It's missing Ramayanas. Saravayanas, but that's what the energy matrix. So up to here, there's no time, there's no light, or there's no sound. And then from here, the dimension come arise. So-called division, dimensionalized realm starts. So anything you say dimension, as soon as you say dimension, there's a time, there's a light, there's a matter, there's a learning. There's something you have to learn, right? So this is a light sound field, and this is the first time the time appears starting from here. The top of that is called Rishi. We did the exercise and technique 1, right? Disc 1, you linking to Rishi, universal mind, right? Tritonal, dimensionalized, universal mind. There's three the dimension 13, 14, 15. It's Elohim, the 13, Seraphe, Serahim, and the Braharama as a 15. And the one below that is Avatar, right? 12 dimension, right? Avatar self. That is a Mahara Huba body. So Maharata, that's where they're coming from. Maharata Kumabeka. Remember that song? The Avatar with a conscious mind. And again, downstepping those three races, right? Elohim, Seraphe, Serahim, and the Braharama races. Now, Seraphe, Serahim, you may be more familiar with. Those that have, most of them has a wings. And the Elohim, you probably heard this name. There's some kind of familiarity here. And then the one below is a Bechahuba body, which is an oversoul, causal mind. And down here, Alfi, Huba, soul, your soul family, your soul body, your soul, right? Super conscious mind. And not a Huba, it's you, us, incarnate. This is the individual mind. So we are here. So actually, from this point, if somebody came from here, it looks like a God, right? But when you in this teaching, when they say God is right here, I am just I am, unified source, the God seed. When they talk about God here, they're talking about the unity field of just source of consciousness, right here. So there is really no name or no form. It's an energy being. You be felt and sensed at this level. Now, as you expand your consciousness, and expand your Huba body, you're getting closer, right? And closer to to avatar mind and perhaps reshareable, you will definitely be able to feel and make sense out of this just sort of source even more so. So this is the kind of a joy of going up step and expanding consciousness. So that is I just wanted to show you here when you move on to the lecture 6. Hopefully this will help a little bit more. And it's natural to have a lot of questions. To help you, I put collected a lot of definition talk about in the lecture here. So please read this through. Hopefully this will kind of clarify a lot of some of the question maybe, or connect one concept to the next. All right. With this, I hope you're gonna review, do the technique 5 if you haven't, and then go through the 6, and then we'll find the time to review the lecture 6 together, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. Okay. Well, let's stop the recording here, and then we'll chat a little bit.